I'm leaving home for the coastline.
I'm leaving home for the coastline.
Someplace under the
Someplace
sun.
under the sun.
I feel my heart,
I feel my heart
for the first time. 'Cause now I'm moving on. Yeah.
I'm moving on.
I'm moving
on.
And there's a place that I've dreamed of, where I can free my mind. I hear the sounds of the seas.
October 29, 2023, Dan Greider, Probable Cause. Quite the sad song and quite the sad story from California. A young, vibrant couple killed in a tragic plane crash, and the story and the stories of these decisions that are made are becoming more and more profound. I'm getting the feeling that we have less and less mechanical failures and more decision failures. I'm going to get into that. Welcome. Glad to have you with us in tonight's live chat. It is Sunday night. I'm going to go over the fatal accidents for the month of October and specifically in the last 7 days. The one in California was very profound. I'm going to end the video with a little music tribute. They may place ads on this video because of it. I don't know, but it's a fantastic song done by Hollow Cove, an Australian band. And this song that they did is called Coastline. It's the theme song that Jamie Russ put on her Instagram the morning of the crash, the last day of her life. We have a lot of topics to get to tonight. I'm going to zoom through them as quickly as I can. I appreciate you hanging with it on the live chat and jumping in there with us here this evening. A lot of comments here lately about not making this video so long and cut to the chase. I want you to know that these shows that I produce here, they're episodes. I produce them by myself, one at a time. I put a lot of work into producing this. You don't have to watch. I could give you just the data and read from a report and tell you exactly what other news agencies have already reported. I'd like to go a little bit deeper and provide some human aspect into all of these stories and maybe find some better solutions in finding out who we are as human beings in all these stories. One of the first stories I'm going to talk about this week has to do with the jump seat pilot from Alaska. I try not to do very much 121 big airline stuff, but on occasion, this one really hit home, and I think it's a trend. I think it's something that we need to be very cautious of and think about very, very carefully. Our mental health issues for our vets, our people that are struggling in America, there's jobs, there's job losses, there's all kinds of external pressures. And remember, an airplane is only stressed to so many G's. It's metal. When you overload an airplane, that metal will break. A human being is the exact same way. The human mind is only stressed to so many G's until it snaps. I'm not a psychologist or a psychoanalyst, but I can tell you most likely the individual that had the problem on Alaska was under a tremendous amount of load and stress. I don't feel that it's our place to belittle or make fun of that individual for whatever happened. I don't know if it was drug related. I don't know if it was psychological related, but I can tell you for sure this individual was a fine guy, well liked by everyone with a lot of friends. He has a wife and 2 kids to this day that are very hurting. It's a tragic situation. We don't know what happened, but exactly on that flight, something went wrong, and that pilot exceeded his load limit on something. I don't understand exactly what happened here, but I think we should be more cautious and more careful before we make fun. I'm a little bit disappointed in Brian from Just Plain Silly, who took opportunity to ridicule this pilot. I'm going to show you a clip from Just Plain Silly. I think it's time we take the opportunity to call out people who are specifically making fun of those who have trouble or have problems. This is going to be a recurring problem. The mental health aspect of pilots and even individuals in America is going to be an issue going forward. I think we need to reach out, find a solution, find a way to lessen the load. Making videos and making fun of those individuals I don't believe it's a solution. Here's Brian's intro to a YouTube post that he made about the individual from Alaska who had the issue on board the Alaska flight last week.
Hey guys, I'm Brian. If you've been watching the news, you've no doubt recently read a story about a jump seat pilot who tried to shut down both engines of an airline in flight. This was a Horizon Airlines Embraer 175. The jump seat pilot, a guy named Jacob Trevors, was hitching a ride on this flight, and in the middle of the flight decided for some reason he was going to reach for the fire shutoff valves and try to shut down both engines.
Another very sad story that just popped in the news is Dick, that owns Vans RV aircraft out on the West Coast, a fine individual. I did meet him one time. He would never remember me, but I very much respect the guy, the builder, the company, and the aircraft. It's a fine line of aircraft. Vans is in deep financial trouble, and they came to the public with this very frank announcement. I'm going to show just a portion of that from Vans. I would like to offer our community support. I don't know what I can do or what anybody else can do, but Vans and the Vans family are fine people. Those are fine airplanes. I wish that there was a way for us to collectively somehow find a way to help Dick and reorganize and get his cash flow problems straightened out, so that the line could continue. A very sad story. I think it's a litmus test of things to come in aviation, in the aviation future. We have some very, very difficult times to go through coming ahead in the coming years and months. No doubt. This is the tip of the iceberg. I think we're going to see financial problems and failures and company failures and some deep financial problems from all kinds of things.
Hello, I'm Dick Van Grunzen, founder of Vans Aircraft and principal designer of the line of RV kit planes. I wanted to make this video so I can speak directly to you, the builders and owners of Vans kits and airplanes. Over the past 50 years, I've had the pleasure of speaking directly to many of you, and I've always enjoyed sharing our mutual passion for aviation and the RV kit planes. I need to share some difficult information with you about the status of Vans aircraft today. Due to a number of factors, Vans is facing serious cash flow issues that must be addressed for ongoing operation.
Somehow it's all directly related to our general aviation fatal accident rate. I think that our skyrocketing costs, our fuel costs, and all those kind of things, our general aviation fatal accident rate does have an effect on the overall effect because it affects product liability insurance. It affects the ability for these owners and manufacturers to get and obtain insurance. And most of these accidents are preventable. I'm going to go back to the same theme that I started this video with. This has to do with decisions versus mechanical failure. And I'll show you at the very end of this report. I've kind of broken the 13 accidents down for the month of October. Here they are on the screen, and I'll show them to you real quick here. I've broken them down into one of these four categories. It's either bad decisions or mechanical or training or unknown. For the 13, we had 8 of them that I believe were simply very bad decisions, totally preventable via making better decisions. 1 mechanical, 3 of them could have been prevented via AQP training and being ready for the scenario, very much training related. Speaking of left coast, I was out in the West Coast here a little bit this week, traveling around, doing a little bit of work and stuff like that. I stopped into the seaplane base, and I'm going to do a little bit of a follow-up. This has to do with November 725 Tango Hotel. This is the amphib on float that killed 10 people, a pilot plus 9 a year ago, probably 13 months ago, something like that. The NTSB did their final report. This is the 4th crash or incident regarding this type of aircraft with the same exact type of problem. It took a fatal crash and 13 months for the NTSB to report any kind of a conclusion and do their job finally and make recommendations. The recommendations from the NTSB are not law. They don't have the power to enforce. All they can do is send a letter with recommendation. The whole NTSB concept is amazing. It takes a long time, and the most powerful thing that they can have is to send out a letter of recommendation, which doesn't really fix anything. Of the 10 letters of recommendation issued so far on this crash, only 2 of them have positive results. One of them, a letter that says they'll conform, and one says they'll think about conforming with an amended, something like that. 8 of them have not been answered at this point, which just goes to show you the futility of what NTSB is trying to do out here. But here's a clip from me this week out in Seattle. I'm out here in Seattle for a couple days, and when I get back from Seattle, I still got to go to New Orleans and to Birmingham, so it's been a busy week on the road. If you remember the crash from September 4 of 2022, about 13 months ago right now, it had to do with this airport, Renton Field, in just outside of Seattle. The seaplane operator was Friday Harbor Seaplanes. This is a big seaplane base. I'll show you a little bit of footage right now of all the seaplanes. These are the Otters and the Beavers and all these 185s and things on floats here. It's a big seaplane base out here. I'm here after dark, so everybody's gone, and I'm outside the fence, so I'm going to shoot a little bit of video. I want you to go back and watch the video that I produced on this thing. The NTSB had 3 very clear opportunities to address the problems on the tail of this airplane prior to this. They didn't do it. They waited until 10 people died. When this airplane crashed, November 725 Tango Hotel, September 4, 2022, the initial reports were that it was a psych problem or a suicide or something like that. The pilot and his family contacted me immediately and said, no, this was not suicide, and it turns out it wasn't. This is a failure in the tail. NTSB had 3 clear opportunities to issue a recommendation on any of the 3, and they did not. Now, after this one, 10 people are dead. It took them 13 months to conclude their investigation and issue a recommendation. Now, of the recommendations, they made 10 recommendations. Of the 10, 8 have been ignored. 1 has been marked closed acceptable. 1 has been marked closed acceptable alternate. The point here is that the NTSB is a non-regulatory agency. They have no authority. When the NTSB writes a letter to the FAA mostly laughs at them. They do all the investigation and all the work, but they cannot make anybody do anything. We're spinning our wheels. We're not doing anything. The reports are not timely. The 10-day reports are not 10 days. Those reports, they tell you 12 months to 18 months. They're not 12 to 18 months, and it's going to take them forever to issue a recommendation. And when they do issue a recommendation, nobody listens to it. Now, this airplane right here, this 10 people that died, now they finally got around to issuing a recommendation. Even the recommendation that they offered is bogus. They want an extra additional retaining clamp on this thing, and no, we're not doing that. They want you to modify the actuator and the elevator of this thing. I'll show you the graphic for it here. They want you to modify it to put an extra retaining clip and all this extra stuff in there. That's not what we need to fix this airplane. These operators have operated these airplanes for 50 years. They know how to operate these airplanes. They know how to inspect them. All they need to do is get up there in the tail more frequently and keep an eye on this and make sure these actuators on the elevator for pitch control stays where it's supposed to stay, and more frequent inspections. I'm not in favor of modifying the actuator and adding additional gizmos onto the tail of this airplane, onto the actuator. This is it right here. I'll show you the sign here. This runway is right on the water. I'll show you the graphic for it. This is Friday Harbor. This is Friday Harbor Seaplanes. Here's all the seaplanes that they got right here. Speaking of Seattle and Portland, I'll be out in Portland. Here's a couple house clean mountains. November 8th, don't forget, Captain Savino's going to do her Tenerife crash talk on a Zoom call. It's free. You can register right here. Check this out. November 9th, I'll be up at Bowling Green with my fiddle player, Toby Rice, the fantastic. He's a jet pilot in CFI. Toby Rice and I will be in Bowling Green. It's free. Here's the deal for it. You can check in with there. I don't think there's any registration. It's an EAA chapter, but it's open to the public. And then November 24, 25, it's the day after Turkey Day. After you've had turkey on Thursday, come out Friday and Saturday. We'll be at Victor 23. That's the little Victor 23 brew pub in Vancouver, just on the north side of the river. We'll be out there both nights, 6 p.m. to close. There's nothing official going on. It's just a meet and greet. We're going to hang around. I'm going to be in Portland for a couple days working anyway. I'm working on DB Cooper Part 3. If you hadn't noticed, I did DB Cooper Part 1 and Part 2. Part 3 is in the making right now. And I'm still shooting and working on some interesting things for that. So DB Cooper Part 3. If you'd like to be in that video or maybe meet us out there, I'm not sure exactly what the time schedule is going to be on that. But November 24 and 25 in Portland at Victor 23. There's no reservations, no tickets, no anything. Come on out if you want to. Bring the family. Come when you want to and leave when you want to. It's totally free, and we would love to see you at Victor 23, Friday night or Saturday night, November 24 or November 25. You know, I got back from Seattle. I had this thing coordinated. A guy from Birmingham, a very interesting aviation family. The father in the 60s was a pilot, and he had 5 kids. Of his 5 kids, all 5 have soloed airplanes. 4 of them gone on to be very accomplished pilots. The one person in his family did solo, but did not choose that as a career. 5 out of the 5 kids were pilots, and Bill Upton received his 50-year FAA Master Aviation credential from the FAA. So we flew over to Birmingham, but on the way we stopped at Lake Martin. They had a Petrel and a twin-engine Air Cam. I'd never been in either one of those, but I took Dylan. We flew the Cherokee over there. We put Dylan in the Air Cam, and I was in the Petrel. We went out and flew side by side. We made a bunch of splashdown water landings, and I got to do all that stuff. Dylan also got a ride in a helicopter. This is a helicopter that doesn't have a tail rotor. This is called a NOTAR, which is no tail rotor. This is flown by David Upton from Birmingham that owns a crane company over there called Crane Works in Birmingham. Generous hospitality of them. We flew over there. Then we went to Birmingham and jumped in a jet. We all flew down to Lakefront Airport in New Orleans for the ceremony. Wow, what an evening and what a turnout to celebrate the life, the aviation career of Bill Upton. Here's a few scenes from that. Well, this is pretty cool down here at New Orleans Lakefront. Just arrived via private jet, like I'm a big dog or something, which I am not. But I got to fly the thing right seat in here. A lot of fun. And now we're going to go to this 50-year award thing. FAA hands out a little award if you make it to 50 years without killing yourself. They give you a special piece of paper. So I've been to several of these. Here comes another one. Let's go inside and see what they got. I hope they got some food. All right, well, I'm down here with Bill. 50 years, Bill.
50 years.
How did you do it? I mean, you're still alive. 50 years of flying, and you didn't crash one yet?
Not yet. Not yet.
Another 50 goes. Sure, FAA's giving you a little award tonight, and I appreciate you inviting me and Dylan down here. Food, something to drink, and a nice celebration. We just want to say congratulations and thanks for flying safe for 50 years.
Well, thank you for coming and enjoying this time with us.
You betcha.
Yes, sir.
This is the official Master Pilot Award, which very few of us will ever know or see, but for Mr. Upton, it's a reality. Congratulations.
So on the way down there, we got a little bit of helicopter stuff. I'm going to show you just a real quick little bit of footage of Dylan in the helicopter. And then There's a seaplane base over there in Shelby County, and this guy has a seaplane base. He's got a bunch of stuff. Very interesting. If you want a seaplane rating, you can check it out. And here's a quick little cockpit video of me and the Petrol flying with Charles. He's the guy that owns the place over on Lake Martin, and this just happened yesterday.
Shelby County, Echo Tango. We've got a Widgeon and a couple of, well, actually 3 air cams. We can do multi-engine CN, and we've got a Husky and 2 Petrels. We got a bunch of instructors, a bunch of good lakes around here. Beautiful area in Alabama.
You can actually do ATP single and multi-engine for seaplanes.
Yes, sir.
That's amazing.
The vast majority of it, what we do is private single engine, or private and commercial.
Right.
We can do those in a couple of days, 3 days most.
Yeah.
And we can get you both the ratings in a week.
So for a guy that has a private pilot single engine, how long does it take? How many days for him to come out with private pilot airplane single engine C?
2 days mostly.
Wow. And you're the examiner?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well that's cool. Sounds like a lot of fun.
It is the most fun you can have in an airplane.
Yeah, it's amazing. Beautiful scenery and it's amazing. I mean, look at the amount of space that you got to land these things out here. It's just incredible.
Yeah, I can hit that lake.
You can hit that lake. You're so good that you can even hit this lake.
Yep.
Yeah, so what's the website for your seaplane operation?
Waterwings.com.
Waterwings.com. Well, that's pretty easy.
Yep.
And I'm not a seaplane guy myself much. I have flown the Icon quite a bit, but I don't have a seaplane rating myself. But I've been in them a lot and been around that stuff, so it's always been cool. I've just never had the time really to get into it.
You don't have 2 days?
I don't have 2 days. No, I do. It's just, what I mean to say is I don't really have a use for it. You know, I would never be a seaplane instructor or a seaplane ferry pilot or anything like that. I just don't have enough experience in it, and I've never messed with any of that kind of stuff.
Well, the beauty of it is there's always things to learn in aviation.
Oh, yeah.
And everything you learn helps.
Yeah.
We're not going to hit that tower. That's a goal.
That'd be good if we did not hit the tower.
Do you want to get a landing?
Yeah, I'll take a water landing. Can I get a water landing?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'll do one.
We'll get over here on the other side.
Okay.
Or we can do it right here.
Okay. You use flaps or no flaps?
We don't have flaps.
Oh, there are flaps. Well, that answers that question then.
Yeah, no flaps. All right, you got the airplane.
All right.
Can you hold that?
Yeah. All right, throttle right here. Boy, this is weird. Throttle.
Yeah, throttle's on the wrong side.
Okay, where's your RPM indicator at?
Right there, there's your manifold pressure. You got pedals down there.
All right, I'm going to feel the rudders for just a second.
All right.
Okay, I see what you got here. Now, talk me through, which way am I landing here?
Let's go that way. Let's find a spot where there's not any boats.
Okay.
And I think, you know, just if we go right like that, we'll be in great shape.
All right, there's one boat coming across right there.
Yeah, we'll go past him. We'll be faster than that other one.
All right.
And just kind of work your way this way. We'll bring power out when we get closer to it. I got another boat cutting across us.
I'm going to aim for the middle spot, that cove out there, if that's okay with you.
That'll work.
And then what kind of a speed do I want? I'm at 89 right now.
But you're going to want to be between 60 and 62, or 63.
I'll do 63.2.
There you go, 63.2 will work fine.
I'm gonna play with the rudders for 1 second here just to see what.
Absolutely. We're gonna go that way, I think. That'll keep us out of the wakes.
Okay. Yeah, I got a nice clear little channel here. Well, this is weird flying left-handed.
Come out with your power.
Okay.
And...
Am I into the wind here?
Yeah, you kinda. Not much wind today anyway.
Wheel point traffic. Number 520 Romeo Tango entering.
Don't flare it.
9027 Wheel point.
Don't flare it. Alright, put your power back in. Go ahead, get all on.
Alright, you ready?
Yep. At about 55, pull back. There you go.
Nose going a little speed here.
Alright.
Oh, that is amazing.
And that's the turbo.
Oh, I see.
You don't have the turbo on that side, you got a detent over
Oh, I
here.
see. Okay. All right, well, I'll give you the airplane back again.
I got the airplane.
You got the airplane. Very nice. Thank you very much.
You got the camera.
I got the camera. You got the plane.
I got the plane.
So now we're down to the October results here. I'm going to put this screen up here for you to see. This is October 2023, and I'm going to start off with breaking these down again to remind you. These are in 4 categories. I've put them in A for aeronautical decision making. The accident could have been prevented via ADM, or mechanical, something mechanical likely happened, or 3, training, specifically AQP training. Being able to respond properly to the event could have helped, or the 4th one was U for unknown. So A, M, T, or U. And here they go in order. Number 1 happened on the 1st of October. November 545 Papa Zulu is the Cardinal up in Lake Placid. That's the AOPA fatal. Definitely aeronautical decision making. Should have never left the ground. Should have never turned around. Should have never put the gear down. Should have never tried to make it back. A whole string of 10 aeronautical decision making. Can't tell who made the decisions and who was flying or who was touching what yet, but between the 2 very accomplished pilots, an entire string of poor, very poor aeronautical decision making caused that double fatal. The next one, fatal 5-6 Delta Victor. That's the one, the Carbon Cub out in Washington. That's Dooley Vanio, 59 years old. A lifetime of making very poor choices, and this one finally got him. I put idiot on here. This guy, this is one way in, one way out, and you couldn't tell Dooley anything, and this one got him, and I'm very sorry, but this was nothing more than bad decision. November 7153 Romeo. This is the PA 28140. This guy, I'm calling it irresponsible. This is the Senator Doug Larson, 47. A dad with 3 additional family members, completely irresponsible, taking off from Utah, overloaded, and this airplane. This is not good. This whole thing at night, at the time of night, this is too late at night and too high density altitude. The next one, November 8360 Kilo. I've called this training. This is the PA 44180 out in Oregon. No spin recovery. This is Michelle Cavallati, 22 years old. I'm not sure if this person ever knew how to do a spin recovery or wasn't supposed to be doing, don't know what, but I think training would have helped there on either preventing spin or getting out of a spin in the first place. The next one, November 557 Lima Juliet. This is a gyroplane in Minnesota. This is definitely a decision problem. Lauren Jones, age 66, hit a power line. He made the decision to fly too low, got too close to power lines, and he definitely hit it. That was his decision. November 802 Juliet Romeo, that's a Bell 407 in New Hampshire. This is a night unintentional IMC after takeoff. He took off, tried to stay VFR, and he made it about 60 seconds after he took off. Can't really tell if this is spatial disorientation or if he simply drove it into the ground trying to get back VFR again like most of those helicopters do. November 75 Romeo Tango. This is an RV-8 out in Utah. Donald Higgs, age 43. They think this is a flight control problem. This is day VFR. This thing was flying along. No problems, but he did report a flight control problem over the radio. November 880 Alpha. That's the 414 down in Louisiana. This is definitely a DMMS. This airplane stopped, dropped off, or picked up one person. This is Muid Jabbar, 48 years old. On takeoff, lost a left engine and tried to bring it back around to get back to the runway again. Base to final, stalled and spun that airplane, and it's over. Pilot and passenger are dead on that. November 6, 192 Juliet. This is the PA 28140 out in Arizona. Loss of thrust on takeoff. Training could have fixed this. This is Haymoon Kim, 31 years old. Lost the engine, but that's not the big deal. It's how you handle that engine failure that would have saved his life. November 8248 Kilo. This is the BE-36. This is a 36 Bonanza out in California. I've called this Get There Itis. I'm going to give you the full story on that in just a moment. This is Vaughn Porter, age 54, and I'm going to conclude this video giving you the full story on that. November 92884. This is the PA 46310 out in South Dakota. The pilot survived. The passenger did not. The pilot was Eric Meyer, 59 years old, and I saw the picture of this. It belly landed. The airplane did not look destroyed at all. It did not burn, and it did a nice belly landing. I don't understand yet what's going on with that. November 5180 Whiskey, that's the AT-502. This is a spray plane down in Louisiana. They tell me this hit a power line. I haven't been able to get any pictures yet. Casey Novak, age 50, in Louisiana, a crop duster in Louisiana, and he is no longer with us. I don't have any further information on that. November 320 Papa, this is the Lancer 320 in Wisconsin. I call this illegal IMC. The guy's name is Stephen Walker. He's 57 years old, and what he did was he's trying to get up to Door County. He's already been in flight a long time and he's low on fuel. He gets up there and realizes that his destination airport is gone IMC, and he turns around, he makes this right-hand turn. Take a look at this radar track. Now he makes a beeline towards Manitowoc. The actual wreckage was found, I stretched this out, the wreckage was found nose down in a pond, and it could not have been any more dead center on the extended center line of the runaway from Manitowoc. He was definitely GPS guided. He was on approach. I don't think he was legal IFR. I think he was illegal IFR. I think he was trying to get down underneath the clouds to find the ground out here. I think he drove it straight into the ground. That airplane clipped trees before it went into the pond, so he was low and he was traveling fast when it hit the trees and it went into that pond, and that's all that happened on that one. Let's get back to this BE-36, because as I've alluded to, there's always a story behind the story. The NTSB always wants to go for the mechanical failure. I want to go for the heart failure. What really happened here in the head and the heart of the pilot? What is it in the decision-making process that actually caused this scenario to unfold anyway? It's a very sad story. I'm going to conclude with this one here. Let's get into the Bonanza A36 crash from California from just last week, Vaughn Porter. So the story is Vaughn Porter's wife, Amy, died from COVID in 2021. He's got 4 kids. He had recently found a new girlfriend. They had established a relationship, and the two of them had been traveling a little bit in the Bonanza, Vaughn's A36. Ironically, Vaughn's father died in a Bonanza, making a very poor decision, taking off in a snowstorm, and he flew it directly into a mountain after everybody told him not to go. The story on Vaughn is a little bit more interesting. I did a lot of digging on this thing. On Friday afternoon, they flew to a place called Shelter Cove. When they got to Shelter Cove, it was definitely fogged in. That coastline fog moved in on top of them, and it was clear all the way until they got there. Their destination airport was definitely fogged in. The problem was that Vaughn had both hotel reservations and dinner reservations for Friday night. Now, that's a problem. A non-refundable hotel Shelter Cove reservation is very expensive, and they're not giving you money back. He elected to turn around and go back down to Covelo, which is 0 Oscar 9, I believe. Runway 1432, so he went back, and they do have fuel. He was able to top the airplane off. He topped the airplane off, but he was almost out of daylight. It gets dark at Shelter Cove at about 6:15, and he makes this takeoff. By the time he got back, they used the restroom. They topped the airplane off. Now they're full on fuel, and they want to go back and have enough options to try to make it. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but he's going to give it a try. He's got a full tank of gas, and he's got a lot of options. He makes another takeoff, but at time to taxi out, he's got a huge decision to make. He can either take off on runway 14 with a fairly stout tailwind, 10 to 12 knots of tailwind, or he can take the headwind on runway 32. Here's a picture of 32. 32 is right straight into rising terrain. Runway 32 climbs you right into the terrain. I have flown the A36 a lot. That thing, heavy as a lead sled. If that thing is totally topped off with 2 people and luggage and everything, that 836 is a ground lover. That thing does not want to climb. It's a very short runway. I think he used all the runway, and he did have his little bit of headwind to help him, but he could not out climb the terrain. He boxed himself into a canyon. He boxed himself in with no options on having to get to Shelter Cove because of his dinner reservations, because of his hotel reservations. He had to go. The correct choice in the mountain flying would have been to take the downwind takeoff, which is totally flat. Maybe a full flap takeoff even might have been considered, or something like that, if you're absolutely going to try it. But you can't take off into the terrain, which is what he tried to do. The wreckage was found straight up that canyon on the canyon road. He flew it as far as he could. He got himself into a position where he could not climb, and he could not turn around, and he could not land. The airplane hit, it burned, both killed instantly. That airplane was not found for quite a little while, and the family didn't find out. This happened on Friday night. The family did not find out until Saturday night, and that's because of the conditions of the bodies and the airplane. Couldn't even find an N number on the airplane when the rescue workers got to the airplane and got the fire finally put out. It was a full 24 hours before anybody figured out what the N number on that airplane was or who was actually in it. And by that time, the family back in Salt Lake City was already looking for them and couldn't figure out how come there had been no communication from anybody in 24 hours. Bad decision making. It's not so much mechanical failures anymore as our decisions. When to fly, when not to fly, when to stop, when to simply say, I'm sorry, you can have the hotel reservation, but this isn't going to work, and we can't do it. A very ironic and sad situation. My heart aches for those kids in both families, Jamie's family and Vaughn's family, full of kids and grandkids. And now these Vaughn Porter children are left with no mom, no dad, and no stepmom. What would have been a stepmom eventually, most likely. All 3 wiped out because of aviation. Because of aviation decisions. And I really feel like that's something that we need to address and go forward here. I got this song playing here right now. You can hear it. This is Jamie's favorite song. This is the one from her Instagram. She posted on just that morning. It's the Shelter Cove song, and I want to go to the coastline. They wanted to go to Shelter Cove. For my tiny little itty bitty fledgling YouTube channel, Dan Greider.
Far away to a sunny place where it's just you and me. Feels like we're in a dream. You know what I mean. I'm moving far away to a sunny place where it's just you and me. Feels like we're in a dream. You know what I'm moving far away to a sunny place where it's just you and me. Feels like we're in a dream. You know what I mean.